Good morning. Did you miss me? I know. I said I was going to go live every day and I skipped yesterday. I have a very good excuse. Not that it's all about excuses. Sometimes life gets in the way. In my case, it was a family celebration. But I'm back today, and today I'm going to cover two things. First, yesterday, Vinca from yesterday's prompt for Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge. I hope that you created your Vincas. I know some of you have, and I have already reposted them. So I'm going to do my Vinca today, and I'm also going to do today's prompt, which is mimosas. Actually, I'm looking at my list here of all the prompts, and yeah, clearly I have a lot of blue purple flowers and a lot of yellow flowers. Oh well, happy, beautiful, beautiful colors. So for my Vinca, I experimented with finding just the right kind of a blue purpley shade that it is in my stash. And I came up with a bunch of these bottle caps and I think glue caps. And I started cutting them apart. And I know the Vinca has 5 petals. So I'm going with 5 petals on some, and I'm going with 4 petals on others. I'm not sure I'll go with this. This one is a little bit brittle. I cut it up, but it was a little too brittle. So, and then I found these. So I'm gonna try to slice through these with my trusty X-Acto knife. Oh, not X-Acto knife, it's a craft knife. And I'm just doing it on my table. So I'm sort of winging it as far as slicing them into 5 petals. And I'm working on a cutting board on my table. I would suggest that you use a cutting board as well. And I'm just slicing down. And yeah, this is working. Look, I have 5 petals. So these are, maybe I'll just put aside my 2 petal ones and do these 5 petal ones. We'll see. I only have 3 of those. I kind of wanted to do a whole field full of Vinca. I don't have any Vinca growing in my yard now, but in my previous home, I had quite a bit of it. It makes for a great and really lovely ground cover. It's just so pretty, and the leaves are so proliferous too, but I'm not going to do the leaves here today. So yeah, this works really well. So I'm just slicing these up, and then I'm just pushing them, pulling them apart. Maybe I will put aside the ones that I cut into just 4 petals, and just use these little guys that I cut into 5 petals. And I'm just going to stitch them down into my plastic lid. So yeah, this requires a little bit of force and a sharp craft knife in order to push this down. But yeah, this bends fairly easily. And it stays bent, and it gives a nice 3D shape. So I think I'm going to go with this. These guys I'll put aside. I have a feeling there'll be other purple petals later on. Maybe I'll use them for that. We'll see. I do have this one that I did cut into 5 petals. It's a little bit down, and it's a little bit of a different color. So I think I'm going to, put that aside as well, and just go with these 3 little Vinca flowers. So I already prepared my thread. It's a nice long variegated thread. Maybe I'll put a French knot in the middle for the petals, for the center of the flower. So I'm just going to take a stitch from underneath, and I'm going to capture this little Vinca between every petal. So I'm just going to secure it to my clear plastic lid by taking a stitch between every petal on the little flower. So just, you can see I just took a stitch right through where I cut it, and that will secure the flower and sort of give more definition between every petal. And again, obviously you can see this is an abstract representation of a vinca. And that's totally cool. Abstract is how we're going about this. So I hope that you're participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge and you're sharing your creations. I have seen some. I wasn't on Instagram as much as I usually am yesterday, so hopefully I didn't miss anyone's posts. But if you didn't see me comment on your post for the Earth Month Repurposed Art Project, just tag me in your post or send it to me in the DMs, because sometimes it's not possible to catch everything. So if I missed your post, I'm genuinely sorry. It wasn't because I was ignoring you. It's just because life gets in the way and there's so many posts that it sometimes is impossible to catch up on everything. So if you feel that I've missed your post, please tag me or DM me and I will definitely take a look at it. It's just sometimes not possible for me to catch everything. But please continue. I am really pleased with my creations this Earth Month challenge. I didn't think I was gonna make work as 3D as I am making it. Hello, welcome, welcome. I was intending to keep it rather simple and keep to mostly flat work, but I keep inadvertently making quite a bit of 3D work, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Hey Neha, nice to see you. So yeah, I'm just stitching my Vinca here from yesterday. I never got around to it yesterday. Yesterday was Orthodox Easter. This year we celebrate it a week after I refer to as Western Easter, because we do the Eastern Orthodox Easter, and that is on a different calendar. But this year it was only a week behind the other Easter, so we celebrated that yesterday. And I spent time with family, so oh, thank you, Neha. I missed you too. But yeah, it was just it needed to be a family celebration. I had this idea that I would have enough time and enough energy to make it to my studio before the family gathering and stitch everything down, but it just didn't work out that way. I was just too tired from the midnight service and just needed time to rest. So I took care of myself, because we gotta take care of ourselves, right? We gotta be kind to ourselves if we are meant to accomplish all the great things that we want to accomplish. We need to be kind to ourselves. So I took the day off. I reposted some of your work, but now I'm back. I'm back. I'm stitching my Vincas now, which I think I'm just going to make very, very simple as these 3 little flowers. And then I will get to stitching on my mimosas, which I already have my ingredients planned out for that. I came in the studio and rifled through my materials and figured out how I was going to make my mimosa. All right, so I'm just taking a stitch from the back to anchor this. And I'm going to trim this. And then I guess I'm wondering if I want to make a center for the flower. They don't really have a specific center. I'm looking at it. It's sort of a whitish, yellowish center. Do I have any white thread? Let's see. I have, oh, this is nice. Maybe this will work. Oh, I do have white. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll just make a French knot in the middle of the flower to suggest the center. And I think that just that little bit is exactly what is needed here. Sometimes simplicity is the best way of going about this. So oh, you know what? I'll make it a nice thick French knot and I will double my thread. I think I have enough thread to do this. Okay, so tying it off on the end, putting my thimble back on, and popping up through the center of my flower. Kind of can't hold it and do it at the same time. So I'm putting it on the table and I am knotting it around my needle twice, holding my thread and pulling it back in. And there's my little knot. Okay, I'm actually going to tie this off right away as well because I don't want to stretch my thread through the clear plastic. So I'm gonna keep tying it off. Hi, Georgina. Yeah, I'm just gonna do another French knot in the middle. And I got one more flower to go after that. So I think somewhere I have a tutorial on my Instagram feed of how to make French knots. So just scroll back down. And if you are in the Repurposed Collective, then you can just go to the Stitch Vault and there's a big explanation on how to do French knots in there. So I've got you. And if you can't find my French knot video in my feed, just DM me and I will send it to you. French knots look complicated, but really they're quite simple. And they're fun. The great way of adding texture to your work. Okay, just tying this off and I will be all done with my Vincas. Okay, so pushing the petals apart one more time. Here we go. Here is my Vinca, just 3 little blossoms. Keeping it simple. And sometimes that's what you got to do. All right, so now I'm just going to grab another lid. Here's my other lid. And here's what I'm thinking of doing. So today's prompt is Mimosa. I think this plastic mesh is going to be great for it. And I have this. It's a paper, but it's got a wire inside of it. This was probably wrapped around like asparagus or I don't know what. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to use this for my stems. I think they're a little too green, but that's okay. So I think I'm going to do that first. So I think I want to do 3 strands of Mimosa. So I think I'm going to twist. Oh, hi, Adele. Oh, look at my friends popping in. How nice. I'm just going to twist this thing because it's a little flat. So I'm just going to give it a twist. So it just kind of turns on itself and becomes more rounded, I guess, is the word. So it's more like a little branch. And I'm going to do 3 of these. And then I will show you how I think I'm going to. So here's one little branch. And cut this in, not exactly half. And I'm just going to twist this around. Hey, deal. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So I'm just twisting these, and these are going to become the branches for my mimosa blossoms. And the mimosa blossoms are yellow. And I'm going to make them out of this plastic mesh that I have sitting right here. So I have this weird, well, I don't know, it's not weird, but I have an affinity for mimosas. So when I was growing up in Russia, mimosas were like, I don't know if I don't think they're native to Russia. I don't think so. It's a little, maybe they came from the Ukraine, maybe they came from warmer regions, but it was a flower that was always available in the spring. And March 8th is International Women's Day, and it was quite usual for women to receive bouquets of mimosas as their token of appreciation from their partners on the day of the International Women's Day. So I don't know, there's just something about it. I just love those wispy bits. So these are my mimosa stems. Now I got to do the flowers on them. And I think I might do the flowers first before stitching them on. So what I'm thinking of doing is using this yellow mesh, and this is already stretched out. Something else had been happening to it. So I'm going to cut it into a smaller piece. And I think I'll even cut it into sort of these long strips. And to me, the mimosa flower is like these tiny, tiny little yellow balls. And if I had anything in my stash that resembled tiny little flower, yellow balls, I would have used this, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is stitch this yellow mesh around the stem and sort of try to create this ethereal vision of those fuzzy little mimosa balls, because they're so tightly together. There's so many of them and they're so tight together. They just give off this, I don't even know how to explain it, but they give off this idea of this veil of lots of little fuzzy yellow things. All right, I'm not explaining myself very well there, but hopefully you get the idea. So I took my strip of plastic mesh and I sort of twisted it around and squished and smushed it together. And now I'm just going to sort of couch it onto my stem. Where's my thimble? And I'm sort of going to take some stitches and, whoops, didn't make my knot big enough. And then I'm going to sort of wrap the thread around the yellow, the mesh and the stem together so that I'm able to secure it to the stem. Okay, let's see, did I make my knot big enough now? Yes, I did. All right, and then I'm going to twist my thread around and bunch up the plastic mesh. And I'll take a stitch here and there, but just winding my thread around is actually enough to give the idea of what it looks like. Except I keep tangling my thread around the end of this. I can do this. I can do this. Okay, I'm almost done with this one and I'll show it to you in a second. I'm going to take a stitch through this. So see, I'm just sort of, this is the front. I'm just sort of fluffing it on there to give the appearance of a lot of fuzzy tiny little balls of flour. So I'm going to continue stitching another thread onto another piece of plastic onto here, and just manipulating it on, and then I will have 3 little branches of mimosa flowers. Now I'm going to another snippet of my mesh. It's not about precision, it's just about volume here. So I'm not too worried if I'm cutting weird strips of things, or if I'm cutting perfectly. Not about perfection at all. Winding it on. Okay, and at the very tip, I'm going to take a stitch just to secure my thread. Come on, there we go. Okay, so this is my branch number 1 of the mimosa. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. All right, so this is one. Now I'm going to do a second one. I think what I'm going to do is take this mesh that I have here and just cut it in half. I clearly need a bigger amount of yellow mesh than I cut for the very first one. So that's what you do. You make the first one and then you figure it out and then you adjust. So I'm just going to cut off more yellow thread. Thread my needle and continue on my stitching. So welcome those of you just joining us. I am doing my mimosa today, which is the prompt for the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge, day 13. We're moving on, moving through, creating lots of really wonderful work. If you are participating and you haven't seen me comment on your work, please make sure to send me a DM to tag me so that I can take a look at it, because sometimes I do miss posts. It's not intentional, but it happens. So just send me a DM and I will catch up and take a look. I took the day off yesterday to celebrate Eastern Orthodox Easter. Saw lots of family, so I haven't been on here as much as I would like to normally. So I may have missed a few things. But if you're not participating, it's not too late to join us. You can always catch up on the prompts. They're on my website. They're popping up every day here on Instagram. You can scroll down. Oh, I highly recommend you take a look. You go to the Repurposer Collective, at Repurposer Collective Instagram page, and you take a look through the highlights, because everyone who is participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge, I share their posts and then I put them into the highlights portion of the Repurposer Collective Instagram page, so that you can scroll back and see what everyone's been doing. It's really, really fun. I'm really thoroughly enjoying everyone's interpretations of the prompts every day. It's just really wonderful to see. The work is so creative. And so different. It's so wonderful. So wonderful. So I'm working on my third branch. To see, my first branch took a long time and quite a bit of manipulation, but my second one went very, very quickly because I learned from the first one. So this is my third one. Just twining my thread around it, pushing together the yellow mesh, smushing it into sort of an ethereal shape to mimic what a mimosa branch might look like from, I suppose, a little bit far away. That's the idea. All right, so now I'm just going to take a stitch at the end. Tie off my thread. So these are my 3 mimosa branches, and now I'm going to stitch them onto my lid with more yellow thread. I just need to thread my needle one more time. And I love how wispy the mimosa branches are. They remind me of forsythia branches as well. It's the same kind of thing. It's just a very different blossom instead of the bigger forsythia flowers. Oops, I can't thread my needle. You know, the mimosa blossoms are just these tiny fuzzy little yellow balls. They're so wonderful. Okay. So clearly, as you can see, these are going to come off of my lid, and that makes me happy because I'm enjoying having things come off of these lids. So I'm just, let's see, I want to do the placement like this, and I want the blossoms. And because there's a wire in here, I can manipulate them and have them be straight, or, so I'm going to stitch them onto the side. I'll put this one aside. So I'm going to do one at a time. All right. Trying not to jump ahead of myself and stitch one thing at a time, because I think I would have, if I didn't, they would come off, and I want to make sure that they stay on and they stay how I want them to stay. So I'm just taking a few stitches. I'm not going to stitch the whole thing down, just the first like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, so that it is attached well, and then I don't have to worry about it falling off, but yet I could still be manipulated and bent so that it comes off. So it comes off the plastic lid and has nice dimension to it. So now I'm going to put on the second one. I'm going to take a stitch over here, stitching right through my plastic lid. So easy to stitch through, and I love that it creates this really nice sturdy substrate, and yet it's transparent, really, not even just transparent, and so you can see the images from both sides. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I'm done with all my prompts for Earth Month. I think I want to stitch all these lids together. Just not sure how I want to do it. But I'll figure it out. First, we got to get through them all. And on to, day 13. We're almost halfway there. Hard to believe April is flying by already. And by the way, because April is flying by, I should remind you that the doors to the Repurposed Collective are only open until the end of April. That's right. They close on April 30th. At the end of the day, Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So if you've been on the fence and you've been wondering whether you should join, well, first of all, you should, because we are the most inventive group there is. Right, Neha? I think you're still here. Anyhow, we're, not to toot my own horn, but yes, I'm tooting my community's horn. We are a really fun group to be a part of. We exhibit together. Oops. We rip threads together. We are creative together. And here's my mimosa from far away. So today's 2 prompts at the same time, the Vinca and the mimosa. So thanks for being here today. And do share your work once you're done with it, your prompts for today. Yes, Neha, we are amazing. Everyone brings so much to the table, always inspiring. You're exactly right. It's so wild to be in a group where everyone is so inventive and so willing to learn from everyone else and just bring so much to the table. Oh, thanks for being here, Adil. Nice to see you. Hopefully I'll see you in person soon. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here today, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be live again then. Bye.